Ilia Topuria fights Charles Oliveira in the main event of UFC 317 for the undisputed lightweight title, and I've made a video breaking down the path to victories for Charles Oliveira, so now I'm going to break down a video for the path to victories for Ilia Topuria. So, one of the main things about Topuria against Oliveira is Oliveira has a very high guard, and that guard is static. He doesn't move his feet, so he's often going to be just a little bit outside of punching range, but if Ilia does decide to close that distance, he will be able to hit Oliveira. Now, Oliveira is very tough, and he will clash with people, throw knees, throw elbows, he will throw, collar tie uppercuts, and he will get pretty messy. And while there is a good chance that Ilia Topuria can pummel shots over the top and rock Oliveira, what I really think is important for Ilia is to actually go for body shots here and there. If he just goes in and drills a body shot with no setup, he's going to get hit with a knee or something similar. I think Ilia needs to get Oliveira close to the fence, start letting his hands go, and then drill a hard shot to the body, and I think that's really what's going to hurt Oliveira. This fight will 110% be decided by who's on the front foot. With Oliveira, he doesn't really have that advanced footwork. He just simply backpedals, and if Ilia Topuria can cover a lot of distance forward and get Oliveira against the fence, there is essentially nothing other than Oliveira's offense that's defending him. So Topuria working body shots is going to be a very, very important thing. And also, Oliveira has been stopped with body shots before against Cub Swanson and against Donald Cowboy Cerrone. So I think drilling those body shots is actually something that a lot of people avoid on Oliveira. He's a very static target. He doesn't move around a lot, and you can't move your body the same way you can move your head, at least without moving your feet. So I think if Topuria is to commit to drilling to the body, he's going to have a lot of success. Like I said before as well, I think keeping pressure on Oliveira, Topuria is going to get hit, but he needs to be willing to accept that to get Oliveira in a position that he wants to. And he's just going to have to accept that he's going to take a bit of a beating, and I do think it'll, be a tough fight for him. But if he can put that pressure on, it's going to be really, really important. Obviously, there's then the, putting together combinations. I don't think Topuria should aim to knock Oliveira's head off. Not like Volkanovski or Max. I think Topuria said on the Joe Rogan podcast, the benefit of throwing longer combinations is, you get the first two punches and they might defend it, and then next one they'll drop their hands. I feel like because of Oliveira's lack of defense, that applies even more to him. Topuria needs to almost pot shot, right? Be comfortable just sticking a jab out there, sort of throwing slowly, half-heartedly, and then cracking him something big or digging into the body really hard. He needs to mix up the pace to sort of catch Oliveira off guard. Now, one really, really important thing about Topuria is he's not going to shoot on Oliveira. That's all right, but he's not afraid to go to the ground with him, and that's very, very, very important, because if Topuria does drop Oliveira, he will go to the ground, and Oliveira will struggle with someone that just kind of sits in guard and will, punch his face in. You see against Paul Felder was able to land a lot of good elbows without much threat. Oliveira has a very good game off of his back when it's on his terms, but if you forcibly get Oliveira in that position and you can stay safe while getting to the ground and not get guillotined, you are able to land some very good shots. And Topuria, with ground and pound, I feel like he'd be very good. He's got short arms, he can stack up really well, similar to a Volkanovski almost, and he'd be able to land some really, really good shots. Now, a lot of people are referencing Oliveira's high kick as a potential weapon that could cause issues. I don't think that's going to be a problem, mainly because the high kick that caught Topuria was a left high kick. Oliveira doesn't throw left high kicks, he throws right high kicks. And the whole reason that left high kick worked for Jai Herbert was because Topuria was overextending on a left hook. He was way out of range, he couldn't get in range on Herbert, so he threw a left hook, overswung, and then that high kick comes up on the open side. That's not going to happen to Topuria. Now, Oliveira could obviously start using that right high kick to get Topuria, to stop leaning from side to side, but I think it's not going to be as significant of a weapon that people think it will be. But I think for Topuria, the important thing is just keep pressure. You're going to get hurt. It's okay. You need to just go forward and put a pace on Oliveira, because Oliveira will get overwhelmed. He loves the chaos, but at a certain point, it does become too much to handle. You saw it in that first round against Dustin Poirier until about the 3-minute mark. He was simply overwhelmed, and I think if Topuria makes a few adjustments, like going to the body more, being a bit more relaxed, not, trying to knock his head off, but just keeping that space, staying in a range where Oliveira isn't comfortable, then I think he can have a lot of success. Now, Topuria is also very good at taking kicks. What I mean by that is he will get kicked a lot, but he is very good at kind of just taking them on the guard, rolling with them, occasionally checking with them, just shrugging them off. And if he can do that with Oliveira's teep, I think that'll be really, really good, because I think Oliveira's teep is actually going to be one of his best weapons this fight. So if Topuria can simply just do, a downward arm block to that or grab it and use that to cover distance, I think that could be pretty beneficial. I think if Oliveira does try and kick, that's Ilia's moment to go and cover distance. Even if the kick lands, he needs to immediately blitz in with a shot and get in close and then dart back out. I think he needs to employ a similar game plan to Jack Della, not because of the threat of the takedown, but because of the threat of the knees and elbows in close. Even though Topuria is the, shorter fighter and he seemingly does better in close, I think Topuria needs to get in, land his big shots, and get out until Oliveira is against the fence, to which Topuria can really tee off on him. Now, I'm pretty on the fence about this fight, and to be honest, I'm actually starting to lean Oliveira, but Topuria does have several facets to win this fight, and I am really, really hyped for this matchup. And to be completely honest, I'm actually more excited for this fight than I was for Islam versus Ilia. With Islam versus Ilia, Islam has a very good rangy southpaw kicking game that I think would have picked apart Topuria, especially that head kick. I think that would have landed pretty easily. Makhachev is a welterweight-sized lightweight. Topuria is a featherweight-sized lightweight. So, strength-wise, I do think that Makhachev would have pretty clearly beaten Topuria. I don't think Topuria is on the same level technically overall as Volkanovski. I think Makhachev would have pretty convincingly beaten Topuria. That's why I'm more excited for Islam versus JDM and Topuria versus Oliveira, because it's much more of a 50-50 matchup. I think Oliveira has a very, very good chance of winning this fight, and I actually think it's a very, very good test for Topuria to gauge where he is at lightweight, because I feel like Oliveira is actually one of the worst matchups for him at lightweight. So, I can't wait. Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts on the matchup down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.